Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
I don't even know what to say, Rally. I usually say what's going on, man. But after what we just went through, all I can say is damn, man.
Basically. And I second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up to 100th that. I mean, I tried to tell everyone that, yes, I wanted us to win, but God dang it, man. Don't, just because he's a third string quarterback, don't just make us a shoe-in. And look what happened.
I mean, we played clips from Howell's press conference last show, and there was a clip saying, well, Howell said, I'm paraphrasing, well, we might lose. And I don't think anyone really thought that. I don't think anyone in this fan base really thought that. And I got out to Virginia because I'm doing all my tailgate prep, and I put a parlay in, right?
Okay.
And FanDuel sends me a message saying, hey, do you want to cash out early on your Commanders 6.5 wins bet? We'll give you, X amount of dollars right now. Thinking, do I take that and cash in early? Because we need 3 more wins for us to do it, but we still have the Jets coming up. We still got, winnable games, or do I let it ride?
Ooh, you're shaking those dice. You're shaking them. You're shaking them. You didn't cash out, did you?
No, I didn't cash out, and I'm kicking myself, man. I should have cashed out because no one saw us losing to the Giants, man. I put in a parlay, and then got those parlay boosts. The Giants to cover 9.5, the Commanders to win, and the under, because the Giants were averaging 14 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thinking, I'm the Giants 9.5. That's a lock right there, man. This is gonna be good. I can buy Mrs. Tailgate a real present this year instead of DIY something. And then they do that, man. It was embarrassing.
Wet the bed, man.
Bed's not wet, man. That thing's ruined. It's flooded, man. It's just.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta get a new mattress, new bed springs, frame, the whole 9 yards. Just go ahead and take it all to the trash heap.
It was crazy, man. But before we get to it, I gotta thank our friends at Don't Sleep Energy, because I had the tailgate prep from hell. I went to 3 different Costco's, 2 different restaurant depots, because it's right before Thanksgiving, and all the stores are buying stuff for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I did a Thanksgiving theme menu. So
yes, you did.
Stuff,
yes, you did.
So you get a chance to actually eat?
I had me a small plate. Yes.
Because that's more than I had. I didn't get a chance to eat anything. So, but it was frustrating because all these stores were buying all the same stuff I was buying. So I had to go to all these different spots. Normally it takes me 5 hours. It took me legit 9 just to get everything done on Saturday. And I was dragging ass on Sunday. And thank goodness Mike hooked us up with some more Don't Sleeps, or else I would have been struggling come game time.
Tell me about it, bro. Got off work 6:30 in the morning. I was struggling. I mean,
you got to the lot basically straight from work?
No, I was able to get about I'd say a 2-hour nap, if you will. But what does a 2-hour nap do for you?
That's nothing, man.
Exactly. So the Don't Sleep was in full effect, and I needed it. I'm actually going to need it for Dallas as well, because I got a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get into it later, but I'm going to need it for Dallas.
I can only imagine. Just make sure you pack some of those little red berry shots in your travel suitcase, since that way you can actually bring it with you on the plane.
Oh, yeah. I think what I'm going to do is take a picture of me on the plane with the red berry next to the window seat.
There you go.
Know what I mean?
Got to do that.
Up. Oh, yeah.
So how were the lots pregame? I saw you take a picture in front of that helicopter. Could have probably used that helicopter to fly us away in the third quarter. But, you're walking around. It's a salute to service game. For those of you that haven't been to a Commander salute to service, they do a massive thing for all the military. Yeah. They have helicopters come in, Humvees come in, just all this different stuff in the red zone lot. I mean, what was it? How was it walking around the stands?
Oh, it was great. once you pull into the red zone lot and you see that chopper sitting there and all of the service members in their full regalia, I loved it, man. And for those of you that haven't seen the pictures, I have a pair of jeans that are salute to service, and I have all branches of service on those jeans. And it's just my way of trying to give back to our military, armed services, because they need it. It's something that a lot of people take for granted. And if you were able to serve, my hat's off to you. For those who wanted to serve, but for whatever reason they couldn't, my hat's off to you as well, because at least you gave the attempt to. But it's a good feeling. It's let's face it, we are the capital, and you pretty much got all branches of service right here within I'd say almost a 50-mile radius. So you got to give something back to the armed services for being right here in your backyard. So there were a lot of Giants fans pulling to the red zone lot, and once again, Ted, I got to tell you, and guys who are listening, I got to tell you, it really surprises me that that we have these sold out games. Just thinking about it. But when you actually pull into the red zone lot and you see the cars parked so far back to where you're pulling into the entrance, it's amazing, because years past you could pull into the red zone lot, and I mean go deep into it before you ran into your first car. Now these cars are actually out toward the actual entrance of the red zone lot, and it's just amazing. And my hat's off to our fan base. We aren't having a good year. Nobody expected us to be this way, but you guys are still showing up. And from one fan to another, I appreciate you guys. Now, mind you, there were a lot of Giants fans, but it's par for the course. A lot of Giants fans live in this area, in New York, or New Jersey, Philadelphia. It's right, what, 2.5, depending on where you live, to 4 hours. So, but they're all up and down the 95 East Coast. So, my hat's off to those guys for traveling down and seeing the team. And big shout out to Lloyd. Lloyd lives in the New Jersey area, and he comes down for every home game, as well as Lloyd goes to a lot of the away games as well.
Yeah, I was shocked, man. The Commanders, because when we did our pregame wrap talk about the show, it hadn't sold out yet. And the Commanders sent something out, I want to say it was Saturday, saying the game was sold out. So it was good to hear, because that means the Hogs have had a sellout for every single home game this season. So for whatever that's worth, hey, they're making their money back on their investment. So I'm happy for them for that. But I didn't think it was going to sell out, because if you're a Commanders fan, why would you get tickets from the team when the tickets on the secondary market were cheaper than face value? And if you're a Giants fan, unless you're related to Tommy DeVito, why are you going to come down here to come watch this game? And little did I know, it's because they were going to kick our ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a bunch. I mean, this was our busiest tailgate of the season. Partially because Joe Theismann came by and hung out for maybe 30 minutes or so. And Joe set me behind schedule because Joe wanted to cook. And I said cook. I got a couple of videos of Theismann flipping burgers and doing stuff with mushrooms and helping out with the gravy and all this other stuff.
Nice.
And Joe's doing photo ops with everybody. And how am I going to tell Joe Theismann, Joe, I need you off the grill. You're going too slow. I mean, come on here. But this was our busiest tailgate of the season because people thought we were going to win the game. So they all wanted to come out, and it was going to be 60 degrees in November.
Yeah.
Right? So I figured, okay, it's going to be a bunch of Commanders fans that gobble these things up last minute. I was shocked to see how many Giants fans there were in the stands and walking around the lots and everything else. And they're not abrasive. They don't come at you and talk trash like anyone wearing Kelly green or silver and blue. So they don't really bother me. It was just odd to see them there, considering they're on their third string quarterback. Were you as shocked as me, or you just, they represent?
Well, it's twofold. So from someone who's in the travel industry, you also got to look at a lot of these people bought their tickets well in advance. A lot of the people made their travel plans well in advance. You sometimes, you get non-refundable airfare or non-refundable hotel stays or rental cars or whatever have you. And so why eat the fee when you can still kill two birds with one stone? You can see a football game as well as CDC. So I get it. It's like us right now. We aren't playing well, but people have made these travel arrangements, and you've already paid your money. You're not gonna say no. You know what I mean? Unless you're
Yeah.
one of these guys who just make these last minute type of deals. Who I know people who wait last minute and say, I'm going. Well, a lot of people just don't do that. These plans have been made 6 months, 5 months ahead of time. So why waste it? Just go ahead and go. So on one aspect, I am, but on the other aspect, I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm a little different, and I'm sure the travel agents, people like that, hate me because what I do is the beginning of the year, when the schedule's announced, I immediately block off my hotel,
Hmm.
buy my plane tickets, and the hotel I typically do through Marriott because you can cancel up until the day before, whatever, depending on the
Hmm.
property. And
24
then
hours,
I'll
yeah.
typically, yeah, I'll do Southwest because that's what I usually fly because we got family and their hubs around there, and you get your money back or you get to use it on other credits. So it doesn't really hurt because I never know how we're going to be or what's going on. And I'm not trying to say I'm in fair weather, but I'm not going to go to Green
Sounds like
Bay.
it.
I ain't going to Green Bay in December if we're going to get our ass kicked by Aaron Rodgers. That's just me. I'm going to enjoy it from the comfort of my couch. And I will wait until we play them in, September or October.
Sounds kind
It's
of fair
just,
weather to me. I mean, I don't
I
know.
hear you. I'm still representing. I'm still watching. I'm
Yes, you
watching
are.
my wallet too.
I got you.
I can't, I don't like when we lost to the Pats like 52-7 years ago, my boys were going up there. I'm like, hey, more power to you. I'll get a lobster roll down here. I'm not going up there for that ass whoop. It's just like, we'll see what happens. And hats off to you and to all of our listeners and Commanders fans that are going out to Dallas on a short week. Because I'm not trying to jump ahead, but considering what we just saw on Sunday, I don't know what we're going to see on Thursday. And we're 11-point dogs right now as the sun's setting.
I can tell you what you're going to see, and I'm not trying to jump ahead either. You saw how we played Philly both times. That's what you're going to see out of us Thursday, simply because for whatever reason, we play up to our competition and we play down to our competition. And yesterday was a show of us playing down to our competition. We might even squeak away and win this game in Dallas. Mark my words. And that's not the homer in me talking.
We're going to have to get to that in a little bit before we jump in to Dallas, because I don't know if I'm going to agree with you there.
You don't have to, brother. The world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Let's go.
That is true. But this is actually from Ron Rivera's press conference. He was asked if the team was ready to play the Giants this past Sunday.
Do you feel like the guys came ready to play early in this thing?
Always. They showed up early to play. They were ready to play. They had a good week of practice. It's unfortunate we turned the ball over the first two drills, first two possessions.
Do you think the Giants came into it with a different mindset, being a little more desperate?
Couldn't tell you what their mindset was.
I mean, I don't feel like we showed up ready to play, just considering what happened in that game. I mean, you had mistakes all up and down. Maybe the defensive line showed up ready to play, but the offensive line didn't. Just going back and looking at the PFF grades and everything else. I mean, you're playing. You know what I think? I think the team looked past the Giants. I think that they saw a bad Giants team coming here to FedEx Field that we should have beat in New York. And they see a Cowboys team just on the horizon and a couple on the sleeps and a wake up. And they just completely didn't care about this team. And even if they had good practices, they looked past these guys and looked past Tommy DeVito and looked past Saquon Barkley and looked past Kayvon Thibodeau. And next thing you know, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. I feel that you know as well as I do, and our listeners know that football is a two-facet game. You got to be mentally prepared as well as physically prepared. So the guys were prepared on one aspect of it, physically, but mentally they weren't, because mentally you don't allow guys to punch the ball out. You don't fumble the ball. There's certain things that you just don't do if you're mentally prepared. Now, granted, every once in a while, yes, it does happen. Everyone can get a lucky punch in and knock that football out. But if you're mentally prepared, it very rarely happens. And so that's what I'm going to say. Physically, oh, I believe they were prepared. Mentally, it doesn't show it. And no matter what he says, you don't make those type of mistakes.
Yeah. You had 6 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot win a game with 6 turnovers. Just plain and simple. Logan Thomas had that fumble. I feel like, and I went back and watched the game, maybe because I'm having a bad day, so I wanted to make it worse. But I went back and watched the TV feed. We had my friends from Fox 5 were hanging out with us. So, we're chatting with them. We're hanging out. I'm missing parts of the game. I'm hearing everyone yelling and screaming. Like Curtis Samuel getting ejected, completely missed that. Trying to figure out what's going on because that's closer to your end zone. But when I saw the feed on Logan Thomas's fumble, I thought his knee was down. I didn't see the ball coming out. And I'm listening to the radio, and they're saying his knee was down. I don't know if it was or wasn't. I couldn't really tell from the TV feed. Maybe it was inconclusive, but I feel like Logan Thomas's fumble, maybe you challenge that one.
So you had made it in the stadium?
No, I was in the stadium. I was in the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I was in there. I made it there for the national anthem. I was just,
okay.
It's a problem when the wife brings friends. I got to pretend to listen and go back and forth and chit-chatting, and I love them to death. But like I'm watching. So the last 3 minutes of the game, I went to go stand off by myself because the seats were empty at that point around me. And I just wanted to watch the game. But I went back and watched the actual TV feed because being in the stands, we've talked about it. You miss different things. And I feel like Logan's fumble wasn't a fumble, but hey, they ruled it was. Byron Pringle coming out after halftime and fumbling that kickoff. I mean, you finally get a shot because Antonio Gibson isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
You've been preparing all week in practice. You had a good week of practice. But maybe the guys aren't trying to punch the ball out at practice. Maybe they should try and start doing that because every time it was just a guy fighting for more yards. Chris Rodriguez, Brian Robinson. I mean, guy fighting for more yards.
Trying to do too much.
And right when they're about to go to the ground, the ball gets punched out. And 4 times? It was absurd, man.
Yeah. Trying to do too much. I mean, last week it was Howell in Seattle. He was trying to do too much to get that last little bit of yard. They stood him up instead of just going to the ground. And this week it comes back to bite us in the butt again. So that's why I said mentally, I don't feel that we were prepared. And as well as I do that in 2 days in a wake up, you gotta be firing on all cylinders because the best or one of the best regular season teams will be facing them. Notice I said regular season teams. So, yeah, and I'm going to stick by that. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the best regular season teams that you'll ever face. And I don't care who the opponent is, but those playoffs is another thing that I don't got to talk about right now. But so you got to be firing on all cylinders. And that goes as far as the coaches as well. And so we see my hat goes off and my heart goes out to Effie about it. He apparently, for what I'm hearing, is he had multiple fractures on his leg.
He's done. He had surgery.
Yeah, and it goes back to these pieces. I keep talking about it. You have to keep putting these pieces in this puzzle together until they fit. And for whatever reason, he went down and bless him. So now that other piece that you've been talking about all this time, you got to put it in there and you got to figure it out. And it's going to be on the fly because you don't have many days to prepare. So figure the pieces out and put them in there. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's just, you don't. And some fans actually want you to lose at this point.
Oh yeah,
I've got friends that are Giants fans that I haven't heard from in I don't know how long. I mean, maybe the word friend is probably a stretch. Acquaintances.
Yeah,
they're texting me saying, "Can you please win this game? You're messing up our draft pick." And I didn't even bother acknowledging them, replying back to them, and they'll probably see this in a tweet or something that, I'm ignoring them or whatever. But I'm sorry, I'm not thinking about draft picks. I'm not thinking about status for next year. To me, it's all about this season. Let the chips fall where they may. I want to win every single game we possibly can, even if it's meaningless, even if we literally have a 1% chance of making the playoffs. Winning is contagious, and you can build off of it, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
And you get what pick you get based upon that. And maybe that's foolish, but it's not like we've done the best with draft picks anyway. And I know it's going to be new people drafting these players, but to me, winning is contagious. And Sam and this young team understanding and knowing what it's like to win in the NFL, because they were all winners on a collegiate level, but winning in the NFL, once you get a taste of that, you want it again, and it makes you hungry. And that's why I always have an issue with fans saying, whoa, what does it matter if we get in the playoffs? We're just going to get kicked out the first round. It matters because your team got a chance to get there. They know what it takes to get there, and they want to experience that again. That's why it matters. And that's why yesterday's game hurt me so much, man. And I've talked about how I try not let these games faze me, because when I expect to lose, then it doesn't really bother me as much. But when I expect to win, like this past Sunday, dude.
Well, temper those expectations, bro.
Oh, they're tempered now. No, the expectations are done
now they're tempered.
Yeah. No, 9.5 points, man. 9.5 point favorites to Tommy. The guy lives at home with his mom. She makes his bed. He eats chicken parm. That's it. I mean, 9.5 points to this guy. And you lose to Tommy DeVito. He is, just check this out. He is the first Giants quarterback since 2019 to have 3 touchdowns versus the Commanders. Right? I'm surprised that Danny Jones has not had that against us. Right? He is the first quarterback since 1982, Randall Cunningham, to win a game when being sacked 9 times. Most of our listeners don't know who Randall Cunningham is. As sad as that is to say, man.
Oh gosh, see, when I hear stuff like that, see, let me say you something, right? I always have a positive outlook. Always do, no matter what.
I need it, man.
When people tell me, how you doing today? I'm doing fine. Even when I'm not fine, I'm fine. They go, oh, that's a good positive attitude to have. Well, because you can't change it. But when you give me stats like that, bro, you knock me off my high horse.
1982, man.
You really do, man. And you make it hard for me to rep. And you know what my trademark saying is, you rep it hard or you don't rep it at all. Well, god dang it, man. You're making me rep it medium. That's how you.
We ain't going nowhere. That's the thing. And I put a tweet out there.
True.
I'm not asking for anybody's sympathy, but I put one out there. It's like, dude, I love doing the show with you. You know, my brother, we get a chance to talk about something we love passionately, but rewatching games like this make it painful. But,
yeah,
we're not going to sugarcoat it, and we're going to keep it real. And we're also trying to bring some levity to it in regards to, we just got our ass kicked by a guy who is getting paid $44,000 a game, and that's it. And that's why he's living with his parents. Brock Purdy has a roommate, and he's the starting quarterback for the 49ers because real estate's expensive in San Francisco. And he's on that, last pick of the draft salary. So I get that, but there was no way that I could envision a script where we lost to these guys, but yet we found a way. Sam had 3 interceptions. That first interception to Diami, and I went back and watched that play on slow-mo, I felt like Diami almost stumbled on the route or just gave up a little bit on the route, like he didn't think Sam was going to throw it, and Sam overthrew it. And there could have been 2 more interceptions that Sam threw. That was just so frustrating.
Well, okay. You talk about the bad. What about that laser that he threw to Jahan? Laser.
It was good.
That pass was a laser, and it lets me know that when he needs to put some fire on it, he can. So, I got it, man. I get it. It was a bad performance.
He can make all the throws. And to me, this does not fuel fire for Sam isn't the guy. I still feel that Sam's the guy. Some of our listeners don't listen to Be Mitchum Family. We got people in Germany listening. Shout out to you guys. But they do a segment on Fridays called Ask B Mitch Anything. So I asked B, just like I asked you and told you, is it okay for me to fall in love with Sam? Just the whole thing we talked about in the last pod. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with a new GM, if he's going to keep Sam here or what's he going to do. Sam can make every single throw. We know he can do it. And if he has time, he can definitely be the quarterback. But our offensive line did him no help this week. They gave him no help. He was 31 of 45. He got sacked 4 times. And did you see what Kayvon Thibodeau said to Charles Leno?
Something about thank you. I heard vaguely and briefly, so I didn't commit it to memory, but something about thank you for something. And I'm sure that you're going to have the clip to let all of us know what he had to say. Let's hear it.
So thank goodness there's no audio for this, but he walked up to Leno just before halftime and told Leno thank you. And Leno responded and said, for what? Thibodeau said, for the 10 sacks I'm going to get today. Because not 10 sacks for the actual game, because we got 9, but for him to get to 10.5 sacks for the season. And we saw what happened last year. And I understand that Bieniemy wasn't here last year, but Leno got beat like a drum against Thibodeau. And we needed to win one of those 2 Giants games. For those that don't remember, we played the Giants back to back. We just had a bye week in between. And Thibodeau killed us both games. Yeah. And guess what? He did the same thing this week. He had back-to-back sacks on Leno in the 4th quarter. And for some people who might have turned the game off, Leno had a false start during the game, and we had to waste our last time out because I think he was scared Thibodeau was going to get another one on his ass. I mean, Definitely. It was just frustrating.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get beat like that and you're at your home. There's no excuse for it. And he jumped because he knew that hey, look, either I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough, or he was just in his head. So Morgan Moses used to do it all the time. He would get beat.
I swear Morgan was false starting every time too. They just never called it.
They just never called it. Exactly. It just didn't pair up to the eye. But yeah, he did it. So when you are a true dog, you don't worry about that type of stuff. You just let the chips fall where they may. And so we see it. And the thing about it is, all they've done is put this on tape for teams such as Dallas, who have a superior pass rush, to realize, oh, look at that. They can't pick this cross stun up. Oh, hell no. Hell no. No, man. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, we put things on tape to say, oh, they can't pick this double stunt up or this double move. We're going to eat their lunch. So what do you do, man? So now it comes down to Coach EB. You know what your deficiencies are. You got to figure out something to get that ball out of Sam's hand. So this is going to see, did Sam learn his lesson playing the Cowboys? Did Eric Bieniemy learn his lesson with these other teams playing against the Cowboys? It's all going to unfold.
The thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
He did learn, because at a certain point, we had 22 runs versus 25 passes, right? He was keeping a balanced attack. We were rushing the ball. I mean, we ended up with a $174. B-Rob, had 17 carries. He was doing what he could. These turnovers killed us. But when we actually were going back to pass, Leno, according to PFF, a pass block grade of 64.5. Chris Paul, right up the middle, 48.9. Tyler Larson, 27.7. And one thing about Brian Robinson is he does not pass block well. So it's frustrating to see. And there are times where we didn't move the pocket. We didn't do a ton to help him, but it's hard for me to see where the blame goes on which side of the ball, because the defense, they held the Giants for 0 rushing yards until 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Saquon broke that toss outright and then just ran past everybody. If you go back and watch it, our linebackers, safeties, everybody got blocked, and some of them blocked themselves. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And
You
it's
talking about
just
that wheel route?
No, the wheel route was a different one, but they're 2-0 when Saquon scores a touchdown. Jamin Davis is 0 for 100 on wheel routes, and yet you've got Jamin covering him. And guess what? 6 right there. So it was just so frustrating. No, I'm talking about the toss sweep at the end of the third quarter. So from your vantage point, they're running to your right.
Yeah.
And Saquon broke, I want to say it was, I can tell you exactly, it was a 36-yarder right up the right sideline. And every single person on our team got blocked. Until then, they literally had 0 yards rushing. I mean, I never felt that we were out of the game. I thought that we were going to come back. But what killed us, I don't want to say it killed us, but what was a major factor was Joey Sly missing the extra point. We were down by 2 scores because of that. So because of that, it allowed the Giants defense to just pin their ears back and come after Sam and just give him a hard time and harass him. And it was just, they were just off their game, just left and right. They never got it on task.
Joey Sly, hell of a leg. But why are his extra points missing all of a sudden?
I went back and looked at the film, and it wasn't a high snap, because that was one thing I particularly wanted to see, because I missed it, because that was your end zone, and that was right after Curtis Samuel got ejected. And don't even get me started on that. I mean, I think that's BS that he got ejected for that, and hopefully he at least got to the locker room when the hot water was still working. But I can't believe that they had no hot water, man. It's
but you know what though, man? The stories that I hear about the female bathrooms, I hear they flood all the time. Yeah. So if that's the bigger problem with the whole water drainage issue, water pressure, I believe it. The stadium is an older stadium, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I should not say that.
They're making improvements, but yeah,
yes.
And this is not on the new ownership group.
No,
the old ownership neglected to make any improvements, and that's why a lot of those people are gone. That's why it's all new people there, and improvements are being made. It's just salt on top of the wound. When Adam Schefter is tweeting out that the Giants can't take showers, and they were talking about how the guys had to literally use water bottles to clean the dirt off of them because you couldn't take a shower after the game. It's so just cold. Embarrassing. Yeah. No one wanted to take that cold shower. And John, not John. I was, oh my gosh, who the hell's 93 on our team? Jonah Brayton.
Allen.
Yeah, John calls into the Junkies and said some of the guys on the team just didn't even take a shower. They just jumped in their cars and went home because it was too cold. They just didn't want to be there anymore. So
I don't blame them.
Oh yeah, no, I don't either. I don't know if I'd want to get stuck in traffic if I'm that guy's significant other sitting in a car and he's reeking big time. But that's not exactly a big deal. But yeah, with Sly, he kicked it through the upright on a kickoff. He's got all the leg in the world. Missing that extra point was killer. And we're having to play from behind. A couple of those interceptions Sam threw, just nothing worked. But yet we're down by 5 points with 2 minutes to go, and I still felt like we could win the game. Was that just me being delusional, or were you thinking the same thing?
I thought we could win the game as well. I thought we were gonna bring it back on that drive, and shout out to everyone that sent me a text message. I guess I was trying to hype the crowd up, and the camera crew got me doing that. And so because I felt that we were going to get back into it. Because why, Ted? They're the Giants.
Yeah, that's why I thought we were going to win, because they're the Giants.
That's what I thought. I said, you know what? These guys realistically, they really don't want to win this game. The Giants really don't want to win this game, but we need to still win this game. And so I just felt it. And all of a sudden, the old fat lady was warming up, and she sang loud, bro. When that ball got tipped. Because that last drive, I said, okay, we're gonna score. That ball got tipped, intercepted, pick six. It was done.
It was. And this is actually what Sam had to say about the turnovers.
I mean, when you turn the ball over that many times, you're not going to win games. And it starts with me. I got to do a better job taking care of the football. I didn't give my team a chance to win today. But we all just got to be better. I thought we moved the ball well throughout the game, but just too many turnovers. And no matter who you're playing in the NFL, if you turn the ball over that many times, you're not going to win. And so we just got to be better. Got a short week, so I'm going to go on tomorrow and do everything we can and try to win a game on Thursday.
I'm sure there's a stat out there where turnovers equal to X, Y, and Z and winning percentage and this and that. But we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, we just cheddar bobbed it all over the place. And the defense can only hold on for so long, man.
8 Mile. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or Plaxico burst it.
They can't. And here we are, 2 days in a wake up. What are we going to do, man?
It sounds worse when you say it, man. If I say 4 days, I don't feel as bad, but 2 days in a wake up, it scares me. And a lot of fans were saying, hey, fire Rivera, this and that. Like, just realistically, guys, do you think you're not going to fire Rivera going into a short week? You're not going to get rid of the guy when you've got to play Dallas on Thursday. And I don't know, man. Put it in perspective. They have to put it in perspective. The whole reason why Ron is here right now and the staff is here right now is because they took over the squad with basically a month before the season started. This is no different. This is a short week. Nothing is going to move right now. In your mind, you may want it to, but it's just not going to happen. Now, after Friday's game, depending on how bad you stink the joint up, possibly. Depending on after the bye or before the bye, possibly. So you may get your wish, but once you get your wish, and let's just say doom and gloom, we lose all the rest of these games. Is that what you really want? You want to put all the pressure now on hypothetically EB to be the head coach, call plays, do the whole 9 yards, and then possibly lose all the games. And if that's what you want, you may get your wish, but you can't have it both ways. I mean, there are fans that just all they care about is getting a better draft pick. And, hey, it's people root for this team in different ways. Some people just like, I don't know how many times I put a tweet out, like, why are you still going to games? All those trolls that just go back and forth. And like, I was, talking about how if I wasn't in public, I might have shed a tear after that loss. Right. And this guy is sitting there giving me a hard time saying, I can't believe you're going to cry about this team. Like, well, there's something called hyperbole. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. But I'm telling that to our listeners, look it up if you don't understand what it means. But realistically, I'm not shy. I love this team. I care about this team. I wouldn't be doing a podcast about it. Wouldn't be busting my ass at the tailgate, everything else. You love this team. You travel to every single game. And just I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about what happened and the interviews and stuff at the tailgate, but I'm just happy to see you're getting like the pub that you really deserve. And I wear my emotions on my sleeve. There's been times when I have shed tears about this stupid football team, but it's because I love them so much. And I am thankful that apathy hasn't set in, because for a bunch of this fan base, it has. And those are the trolls that say they don't care, but yet they follow Commander's Twitter, or they follow me, or they follow JP, like all these other people.
They follow me. Yeah.
Like, if you don't care about this team, then why are you flooding your Twitter timeline because all I talk about is Commander stuff and food, and me going to the Wizards game just because I'm a glutton for punishment. So why follow if you don't care?
Two things real quick. One is, for a while, the tweets stopped about, why are you spending your money? Can't you think of something better to do with it? And my my rebuttal is always, whose money is it? It's my money. And then they say, well, you're the reason why the inferior product will continue to, because you support the team and they'll never change anything. You got to stop going to games, yada, 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 yada. All right. That's not going to happen, because that's what I enjoy doing. Moving on. For the longest time, as fans, we wanted what? A black jersey. We wanted to have something that was black. Well, all these other teams have a black shirt. I don't know how many times I heard we want something black. Commanders, Redskins, whatever have you. You got your wish. Now that the team isn't playing well, now what are you hearing people saying? You're hearing them say, "I think it's time for us to go away from the black." You wanted black jerseys. You got them. So once again, you can't have it both ways.
I mean, we are 1-4 in the black. So
Yeah.
from that point, I don't want to see us wear them because now it's just a
I hear
joke
you.
that we wore black to our own funeral. Because really, Sunday was Ron Rivera's funeral. And if it weren't for a short week, someone would probably be let go today. And this is actually what Ron had to say about talking to ownership.
Ron, just curious, did you have any conversation with ownership after a game like that, or is that typical? If you did, is it typical to have conversations with them just to update them on where things stand?
I will, but I haven't yet. But yeah, that's something that does happen eventually, whether it's a day, 2 days, or 3 days go past. This is a short week, and we'll see what happens.
People are pissed off that Josh Harris and Mitchell Rails had 40 of their friends from, I don't know if it was elementary or middle school or whatever, in the box and hanging out at the game and this and that. Why do you guys care? They bought this team. They spent $6 billion. They're enjoying something that they all grew up watching. They're all from this area. Obviously, if they went to school here, why do fans care how these guys are spending their Sundays and spending their money and who they're having in their box? I don't understand why people give a damn.
The only thing I can say about that is, let's put it back on that particular fan. When you bought a new car, what did you do? You went to your friend's house, or you invited your friends over to see what? Your new car. This is no different. It's just on a billionaire status. This is their baby. That's technically his room to do whatever he wants to do in it. So let it go. You do things, we do things on a smaller scale. And I'll just, like I said, just use a car as an example. When you buy that car or you buy that TV or whatever it is, you want people to see what you have bought.
Yeah. You're taking pictures of it. You're showing it off on Instagram. You're having people over. It's the same thing for Josh and for Mitch and everybody else. And they're pissed off that Rivera hasn't talked to the owners yet. Sorry, it's not going to happen right now. They've owned the team for 123 days, right? I've got people telling me how they're pissed off at new ownership already. It's like during the tailgate, and honestly, for every single game for the rest of the season, I'm going to pop a bottle of champagne. And we popped one at the tailgate with everyone there because I wanted to remind people that we are winners this season because Dan Snyder is gone.
Yeah.
The tumor that is Dan Snyder has been excised from this franchise, and we have won. Realistically, these guys took over in 123 days. That's how long it's been. So it's not enough time. And you've got fans now that are already mad at new ownership. Do you guys not remember the hell that we lived through with Dan and the debacle that was Bruce Allen and that whole mess and McLuhan and Marty Schottenheimer and Shanahan and just Dan picking drafts from his yacht? And now the Carolina Panthers are talking about how they didn't want Bryce Young. They wanted CJ Stroud, but their owner called in the Bryce Young pick and wanted him versus Stroud. And now the Panthers are 1-8. Do you guys not remember that used to be us?
Yeah.
We finally have new people here that love this team, and you're mad at them for wanting to show it off with their friends? If you're going to be pissed off, put it where it's deserved, at Ron Rivera for what we just saw on Sunday, and at Marty Herney and Mayhew and all those guys for constructing this roster, because they're just not a good team. And shame on me for thinking they were, but I can't believe that people are starting to turn on the Hogs, man. It's I don't want to say it's driving me crazy, but it just pisses me off.
Well, Ted, you know as well as I do, man, that this is very cliche, but we are the microwave society.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to put it on 3 seconds and win a Super Bowl. And it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. At least not for this team, it doesn't. Maybe for some other teams it may, but for this team, it doesn't. What I will say is, and I told everyone to temper their expectations. As you said, we won, even though we don't want to believe we won, when Dan Snyder showed the team. So now it's just a matter of going through the formalities that we need to go through. And everyone is going to get their wish. The writing's on the wall. Unless we just happen to go on a run of winning, 8 games, which I don't see that happening. Just being realistic, I would love for it to, but I don't see it happening. And because of that, you're going to get your wish, but you got to slow down and you got to get it done the right way. And just because you fire someone right now, yeah, that may make you feel better, but is it actually going to be better? No, just yet. It's going to happen. So just sit back, continue to pop your popcorn, and be ready for the show because it's going to happen.
And forget the popcorn. Get the champagne. Just enjoy that.
Okay.
That little, like the Napoleon movie, that should be about Snyder. That little twit running around FedEx Field and everything else, this and that. I mean, just enjoy that. Better days are going to come. It's just going to take some time. And you had fans last year saying, oh, well, why is it going to take so long? Look at Brian Daboll and the Giants. They went to the playoffs, right? Look at where they are now. The Giants are 2-0 against us, and they're 1-8 versus the rest of the NFL, right? They're not exactly doing that well right now because they've got to properly build. They don't have a good quarterback. They paid Daniel Jones all that money, and they're going to be in cap hell, and they've got all these issues. We've got $90 million in cap space. We've got draft picks. We just need a proper general manager to right this ship. And we are watching the demise of Ron Rivera right in front of our eyes. And we have no control over what's going to happen. We can bitch and moan about it, but this is actually Ron talking about what he can control at this point.
Aside from X's and O's, I think most people that follow this team, fans of the team, cover the team, know you care, know that you're a competitor. You wanted to build this into a consistent winner, this franchise. You're facing some adversity. It may not be happening right now. How are you kind of like handling that, processing that emotionally?
Because the truth of the matter is, Scott, I can only control what I can. And as long as things that we want to be going in the right direction seem to be doing that, that's a positive. What happens from beyond today, what happens from beyond the end of the season, that's not in my control. So everything I'm going to do is just focusing on today. I mean, the now and present, that's the only thing I have. And that's what I'll do. I'm trying to get that across to the players as well. I can't focus on what I can't control. I can only control what's going on right now with this football team this day.
Focusing on what he can't control, that's the part that why I do feel Ron has failed all of us. This is a 4-year plan. And I want to go back and look at the roster. Maybe this will be for an off-season pod of when Jay Gruden got fired and how we were then compared to the roster that we're going to be stuck with after Ron assembled and disassembled and assembled it again. And are we better off? I mean, do we have a better left tackle? I'm going to flat out say no. I mean, Trent Williams, best in the business. Do we have a better center? And it's relative because some of these guys are older. They don't play anymore, this and that. Are we better at running back? Are we better at receiver? But some of these guys, Ron didn't even draft, right? Terry wasn't a Ron pick. Duron, John, they weren't Ron picks. I'm not seeing a ton from him. And it's just, no one wanted to coach here because of Dan Snyder. Let's be realistic. That's why we got stuck with Ron. Ron came here because he got full control. So we are still paying for the sins of that little sniveling tiny weasel. And it is what it is. Yeah. But house is going to be cleaned.
Yeah. Let's also remember that he got a bill of health through Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs is the one who realistically brought Ron here because he told Dan, no, I can trust, you can trust this guy. And so, because of it, Joe's being recommendation is a 95% of the reason why Ron is here, which it is what it is.
Yeah. And I guess to me, it's, did Dan ask Joe, hey, I've got these 5 names. Which of these 5 names would you recommend? No name guys, or, Ron Rivera, a guy from Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's headquarters is down in Carolina at that point. And, they know each other. They see each other down there from, NASCAR, whatever else. So, okay. But it's realistically, I think any other ownership group that was stable would have gotten rid of him by now. And I do think that changes need to be made. And this is actually Ron talking about potential changes.
With your experience in the NFL as a player and a coach, where this team and franchise is at right now, do you think there needs to be some sort of a change, whether that's personnel or in the coaching staff?
I'm not going to discuss those kinds of things right now. What we're going to do is we're going to evaluate everything we do, and we'll continue to do that.
Is Jack Del Rio going to be employed come Friday morning? I don't know. And we talked about it. And at this point, you know what? Give someone else a shot. It'll be week 13 come Friday morning. And going into this matchup versus Dallas, they were 7th in power rankings and they played the Panthers. They kicked their ass 33-10. The new rankings aren't out this week, so no need to worry about me asking you what you think they're going to be.
I wouldn't answer.
Yeah. Realistically, going into the matchup this week against Dallas, I love Thanksgiving, but I am dreading Thursday, man.
Well, see, I look at it differently. I'm not dreading Thursday. I'm really not, because once again, it gives me an opportunity to see Texas, which I enjoy Texas. I really do. Even though our foe is in Texas, I don't look at it that way. I get to see all of the fans that are coming in town to meet and greet, and we are even having a rally down there. It's an unofficial official fan rally. The team isn't doing a rally down there this Sunday, or excuse me, this Thursday or Wednesday. I'm all jacked up, as you can see. I need some don't sleep, but Wednesday night, and I've had a ton of feedback from fans that are saying that they're coming. I mean, large groups of people. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I always tell people, do not let the play on the field deter your fan experience. And that's how you have to look at it, because our fan base is so diverse and so deep, to where seeing everybody coming together, that's what makes it up for me. And I've always said, winning the game is icing on the cake. But because I've been able to experience all those other things, I still was able to eat cake. And sometimes the cake is better without the icing.
I hear you. And if I was making the trip out there, I think it'd be a different story. But we're doing Thanksgiving early. Told the wife, we got to eat at 11. Because I got to make sure my food digests before the game comes on, because I don't want to risk throwing it back up. Right?
Oh, gosh.
We're not having anybody over, because I don't want to yell and piss everyone off that's at my house and kick him out of my house. Not that I kick him out of the house, but I don't want to be around anybody for this game. I've been to Dallas before, right?
Yeah.
And I've never been out there for Thanksgiving, because I refuse to ruin my Thanksgiving and be out in Texas. Good for you. You like Texas. I hate the state, right? If I have to pay extra money to bypass a layover at Dallas-Fort Worth, I will. I don't care. I'm not a fan of that place at all. I
Barbecue's
even hate
good.
Texas barbecue. I'm sorry. Not going to touch it.
What?
To me, Kansas City barbecue over Texas any day. Anything that has to do with Texas, I don't care what it is. All right. And I was asked a question by, a reporter saying, why do Commanders fans hate Dallas? And to me, it's how you're raised. You don't like the Cowboys. And I understand we're not the Redskins anymore. We're the Commanders. So there's technically no rivalry with the names per se, but anything Dallas, I cannot stand. I had to fly through Houston to get to Mexico, and I was pissed, man. I was not happy about it, but that's the only way I could get to Mexico. when I went out there. And
I guess I'm a little biased because I had to live in Texas
yeah,
for so many years, and so I kind of adopted, the food, the boots. Hey, I like it. I do. Now you didn't hear me say like the Cowboys.
boots. You had cowboy boots.
I still have Cowboy.
I need pictures of this, man.
I've got about 6 pair of Cowboy boots. I love them. Most comfortable thing in the world. They are.
Oh man. I can't. Are you going to wear cowboy boots to the rally on Wednesday?
No, sir.
You're going to be in Texas. Why not? Why not break them out? You do a little boot scoot boogie?
Because they don't fit what I'm going to be wearing. Now, actually, you know what? I could probably put a pair of ropers on and it would go very well with what I'm going to wear, but I'm more of a sneakers guy. But
what the hell is a rope? The only roper I know is Mr. Roper from Three's Company. What the hell is a roper?
Roper is a brand of boot that very, very comfortable, low heel. I mean, I could pull them out, man, and you'd be like, all right, let me tell you something. Before I moved to Texas, there are 2 things I said I would never do. I'd never wear a cowboy hat and I never wear boots. Well, after being down there for about as many years as I was, I broke down and bought me some cowboy boots. And since then, I probably own a pair of gators, some snakes. Eel. I mean, bro, I got all kinds of exotic.
I hope
Ostrich.
Peter's not listening.
I got ostrich. I got anybody can listen. I hope everybody's listening because I'm proud of it. Once again, I am a diverse brother. Okay.
Oh, you are. You definitely are.
So I'm not ashamed of it. But before I got there, my mind was closed. I said I would never do that. And one thing that we also know, Ted, and to our our listeners that are viewing as well as video as audio, you never say never. You never say never because when you do it, there you go. It'll come and bite you in the butt. And I was one of the ones that said I will never wear cowboy boots. I will never do that. And all of a sudden now, I love the way cowboy boots look in this nice pair of jeans and a button-down shirt and a blazer. Matter of fact, it was when did Breland came to our Christmas? We were the Redskins then, and we had a party at the MGM. I'm gonna find that picture, and I've got a pair of burgundy. What do I have? They're snakeskin of some sort. I don't remember, but I got a jacket that matches. Look out, Jack. Woo!
Burgundy cowboy boots.
Hey, brother. Yes.
Hey, no, I'm okay with it's just anything with the name, even the rodeo burger at Burger King, man. To me, that reminded me too much of Dallas. It's just a burger with an onion ring on top. I don't care, dude. And that's what kills me is they're going to ruin my Thanksgiving. The Cowboys are second in the NFL with points per game. They're putting up 30. And it's just
so it's Philly. And we hung in there with them.
Philly's not putting up 30 points a game. Philly's offense has got problems. AJ Brown just owns us and just scores all night long. So
I don't give a rat's back behind. I don't care. The fact is, we're going to play up to this competition. That's what I know. We're going to play up to unless I gotta put this caveat in there. Unless the guys have said screw it. If the guys have said screw it, then no matter who we could play doggone Baloo, and Baloo would beat us. Baloo High School would beat us. But if the guys have not actually thrown the towel in, then we have an opportunity to hang with these guys. And I feel that it's going to be a close game. And I'm not going to say we're going to win it, but it's going to be like how Philly was. That's what I'm predicting, bro. That it's going to be just like how Philly was, and it's going to be a nail biter. And we're going to be hearing Eric Bieniemy say, we did just enough to entertain some folks, but we didn't win. That's what you're going to see and hear.
I'm hoping I'm entertained on Thursday. I'm hoping I get a good meal. I'm full and I'm entertained on Thursday because week 1, they beat the Giants 40-0, right? They beat the Jets 30-10. Right. This was an anomaly. They lost to the Cardinals 16-28. So maybe that Cowboys show up.
Mm-hmm.
They killed the Patriots 38-3. And then they got boat raced by the 49ers 10-42. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys, they're a good team. They're
Yes.
not as good as Philly. But the thing that scares me is their defense right now and the way our offensive line looks. Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, just ran past Charles Leno right now. I mean, that's how, I'm sorry, it's just, that's how bad it is, dude. And
oh, man.
what do we think Micah Parsons is going to do? And I'm not saying that we can't stop them, because the Cowboys had everything to play for last year, if I'm not mistaken. They're still playing for playoff position, and we beat them at home, and Sam beat them. And who knows if this offensive line and that offensive line, where they are ranking wise. I mean, we had horrible guards last year. Our guards this year aren't doing too well. But I feel that the train's falling off the track right now. The wheels are falling off Rivera's car, because the writing's on the wall that these guys are gone. And slowly but surely, I feel that some of that locker room saying, screw this. And maybe I'm wrong, but body language, I feel that that's kind of where it is right now.
I'm a huge proponent of body language, and I just believe that I've seen them up and I've seen them down, but something tells me that we're going to play above our expectations and keep this game close, providing that they do care.
And it's going to be on national TV. It's, everyone's watching. It's the only game on at that point, and you don't want to be embarrassed. And I'm not saying that Terry doesn't care and this and that, but Curtis Samuel's not going to be here next year. Maybe a lot of guys aren't going to be here next year. And looking at the injury list, now they didn't have a real practice today, but, we talked about F.A. Obata. He's gone. And, hearts go out to F.A. He's a free agent. He doesn't have a contract now at this point, and he's done. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. Alex Harmon,
sucks.
Hamstring, did not practice. Emmanuel Forbes Jr. would have been a DNP. And this is all estimation because they didn't actually practice today. DeJohn Harris, quad. James Smith-Williams, hamstring. Sam Cosmi, chest, would have been limited. Antonio Gibson, his toe, would have been limited. Quan Martin, shoulder, would have been limited. Cody Barton, good news is they activated his 21-day clock. I never thought I would be so happy to see that Cody Barton might be coming back, man.
Speaks volumes. Speaks volumes.
It's crazy to say that I miss Cody Barton. That's kind of where we got right now, because David Mayo, I just feel that he's a liability, and Jamin Davis is a liability when it comes to coverage. And Dallas has some tight end threats, and they've got some weapons over there. And from an offensive perspective, if we don't turn the ball over 6 times, we can put up points.
Yeah.
So can the defense, because I think it's going to be somewhat of a shootout, but let's be real. Dallas had a bye week this past week. I mean, they played the 1-8 Panthers, so it's not like they had to overextend themselves, and our guys couldn't even take a shower.
Well, maybe that cold water did them some good. It may have woken them up to face the Cowboys. And they don't like the Cowboys like we don't like the Cowboys. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a good game. And if not, I will eat some crow, bro.
If not, you got to post a picture of you and your Cowboy getup.
I don't have a problem. Wait a minute. I don't have a Cowboy getup.
You got a hat and you got boots. That's a getup.
I don't have a hat anymore. I had a hat years ago. I have boots now. I have boots. Not a
Just
Cowboy hat.
An old school picture.
I'm trying to think. Did I even take any pictures with a Cowboy? No, I didn't take any pictures with a Cowboy. But I have plenty of pictures with me in boots on. So I will.
A Polaroid picture we can find or something from back in the day? Or
no. Yeah, I'll put it this way. I'll have to dig, but I don't believe so.
I gotcha. I
definitely know boots, but not hat, boot and hat.
I appreciate your optimism. And I mean, for you, how do we win? I mean, do you have a game plan that we could maybe send to Ashburn? A carrier pigeon to Ron's house? What are your keys for us to win this Thursday in 2 sleeps and a wake up?
Well, what we're going to have to do is you really are going to have to balance the run with the pass. And I'm not sure how you're going to be able to do it. Is the pass going to set the run up, or as we know, EB likes to passes at the run up. So you're going to have to figure something out as far as that's concerned. I think that you're going to have to get the ball out of Sam's hands fast, whether it be quick screen, whether it be slants, and when you see that one-on-one coverage, I believe you're going to have the refs on our side this game to throw that ball up there to create a PI. I think that that's the way that we're going to be able to win this game. And also, Coach Bieniemy is going to have to call a hell of a game. And I'm really interested to know, when we played Dallas in Dallas, Sam didn't suit up for that, but
No,
he was
he
there.
wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have suited up, but he was at least still there in plain clothes, right? So he knows how loud.
I don't know. I mean, Antonio Pierce is having his practice squad guys go out, but I don't know if or why Sam would have been out there for that game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and the reason why I bring that up is because he said that Seattle was the loudest stadium he's been to, but if he's never played in Dallas, that stadium can get very loud as well.
Oh, on Thanksgiving too? All those
Yes.
drunk Cowboy fans from stuffing themselves outside? Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be loud.
So that's what I'm interested to know, the pregame preparation for this, because like I said, he said that Seattle was the loudest stadium he's ever played at, or Virginia Tech, and now Seattle. So I'm not sure if he was there when we played them last year. Did he make the trip or not? So that's going to be interesting to me to see how he handles that adversity to be able to become victorious. What about you, man?
I need this offensive line to earn a paycheck. I mean, Micah Parsons has 10 sacks for the year. I mean, Charles Leno is the butt of everybody's jokes right now because Thibodeau did what he did to him. And Tyler Larson, at this point, is he playing himself out and Nick Gates coming back in? I don't think that's going to help anybody. I don't think it's going to happen because Larson's going to be able to call the blitz pickups easier. But Bieniemy, round 2 versus Wink, I think Wink got the best of him again because they brought the blitz. And guess what Dallas is going to do? They're going to blitz. They're going to bring pressure. And we need this offensive line to protect Sam. He's getting blitzed up the middle. And that scramble for a touchdown that he had and a couple of the runs, he's running for his life right off the snap, and he's sidestepping and then running back up. I mean, he's getting rushed right up the middle. And the good thing is they're not going to have Vander Rush because the guy's got an issue with his neck. He's not going to be there. But he's got some other guys on that defense that aren't bad at all. One of their DBs, he's about to break the single season record. What's his name? Here we go. Deron Bland. He's about to break the record for pick sixes. He's already tied the record right now. He just needs one more to break it. So the fact that everybody knows we're going to try and do quick game, that's what also terrifies me, is they're going to press. Dallas is not scared to press. And next thing you know, they'll jump those short routes. So I need this defensive line or this offensive line to give Sam some time to throw the ball. And I think you're going to have to use the pass to set the run up because these guys are good against the run. They're 16th in the league in run defense at this point. So passing, they are 4th. No, passing yards per game, they are 2nd. So, I mean, Dallas's pass attack, they're not bad at all, man. They are 2nd in the league in sacks. And all that goes out the window with a short week because you don't get a chance to prep as much. Today's Monday. That was actually treated like a Wednesday from the Commander's perspective. Tuesday is going to seem like a Thursday, and Wednesday is just a walkthrough day, and then they hop on a plane to get out there. Dallas has the advantage because they're already at home, so who knows what it is. But I need the offensive line to step up and protect Sam. They all ran to his defense during that fight that broke out after you scored that touchdown. Maybe replay that play in your head every single time you line it up against these guys and actually block for Sam so he doesn't get hit every single freaking play.
Yeah, man, you bring a lot to the table, and I can't disagree with anything that you said. I'm hoping that this is the week that we can get it done, or at least make it entertaining and not a blowout.
So who's your don't sleep player that has to get it done so it's entertaining or not a blowout?
I can't say that it boils down to one player, not against the Cowboys. It's going to take a team effort. I know that's a cop out, but it's just being realistic. They're one of the best, as I said earlier, regular season teams. Don't care about what happens in the playoffs, but regular season team, they're one of the best. So the ball has got to be distributed evenly, quick and fast. So I really don't have one player. And I apologize for everybody for that, because it's really going to be need to cut down to 3 quarters, and that's offense, defense, special teams, and coaches. So that's why everybody's got to do their part. Okay, what about you?
When you break it down like that, I mean, you're right. We haven't played where every single facet, even on the wins, where every single facet of this team, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching, has all performed to the best of their abilities. Even when we beat teams, I mean, we barely beat the Cards, came back against the Broncos. I mean, they need to realistically and seriously play 4 quarters of good football. They cannot beat themselves. We beat ourselves against the Giants. They cannot do that. No. So for me, it's if we can control the trenches and the offensive line, then it's going to open up chances for B-Rob to exploit and give Sam some time to hit some receivers. He hasn't really thrown to wide receivers the past couple of weeks. I mean, looking at his receiving options, Terry had 5 catches, Jahan had 3. You know, he's not really getting a chance. I don't know if just because the pressure's in his face and he's not getting to those spots. He's checking down a little bit more. B-Rob had 9 targets. Logan Thomas had 8 targets. You know, it's just, I need the offensive line to drink a bunch of don't sleeps, don't eat any turkey, none of that tryptophan or whatever that crap is before the game. Take a bunch of don't sleeps to make sure you guys are ready. Maybe take some cold showers too, to make sure you're good and awake for this game, because we need you guys to protect Sam, because if Parsons and the rest of that defense gets a chance to get a hold of them, it's going to be a long day, and I'm not be able to hold down my brunch from 11 o'clock. But what's your prediction, man? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that it's going to come down to Seattle. It's going to come down to that, or even Philadelphia games. It's going to be a good game. It just is. We're gonna give the national audience something to say, wow, okay, that kid does have it. Because for a long time, a lot of those out of market teams, nobody gets to see us, but we're on the national stage, as you said, so they're going to be forced to see what we are really about. And it's a close game.
Close game, but
close game.
You're not going to say
I told you what's going to happen. It's going to come down to a 1-point game, but it'll be how Philadelphia or the Seattle Seahawks game was. It'll be just that. 2 losses. It'll be just that tight. I don't feel we're going to win this game. I don't, and I hate to say that, but then there's the Frosty Mini-Wheat side of me that says, hell yeah, we're going to win by a point.
I hope you're right, man. I really do. I appreciate the optimism. And I think it's going to go a different way. I hope to God I'm wrong. I hope these guys prove me wrong, and that they realize that they are you're fighting for contracts. You know, you're playing for your future. You are auditioning for a job, because the house is going to be cleaned. All these guys are going to be gone, and you better put something on tape to make sure that the new GM wants your ass here. He's going to want to keep you and stick you around, because guess what? You weren't drafted by him. You weren't picked by him. You weren't selected by him. So who knows what he thinks about you? Who knows where he had you rated when he was working for a different team? So instead, give him reasons to want to keep you around. That's what the rest of the season's about. And I think Dallas is going to get the better of us.
Ooh.
I mean, being realistic, I don't know if I don't think we're going to win this week. I mean, we're 11-point dogs. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope blows aren't thrown again because, I mean, John and Duran got into it when we were out there. It's just.
That's right.
I hope to God I'm wrong, man, because the last thing I want to see is us just the only game on town to all of a sudden be lit up again on Thanksgiving. But hey, maybe these guys turn it around and maybe they make you right. And you get to go to a rodeo while you're out there and eat a steak and put on your ropers, man.
I won't be able to do that. I got a quick turnaround. So, I mean, once that game's over, I got to beat these to the airport, bro. This is one of those things. I got to be at work on Friday morning. So, can't do it. But, hey, I hear the music playing in the background, which lets me know that we're bringing another edition of DMV Mess Hall to a close. Greatly thank you guys for riding with us. It's been real, and I will have some pictures of me in my cowboy boots. That's right. Matter of fact, Brashad Breland said, cool boots. So, hey, if Brashad liked them, then you already know what time it is. The captain don't come out half-stepping, all right? But that's going to do it, guys. I'll see you in Dallas. Remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. Tailgate Ted, Rally Captain. Deuces.